Okay, I wanted to show you, if you can see these little trenches that I dug, this area later in the summer, they start irrigating and a lot of water gets in here, so I want to make trenches so it's up a little bit where I actually plant the plants so they don't suffocate from all the water, because it'll do that for several days, they'll irrigate. But the dirt is, I save it. This is really bad in here. The dirt that we got was full of all kinds, as you can see, rocks and stuff. So I put this screen, my son threw it together for me. It's just some old pieces of wood that he nailed together, and he put the screen on it. And I lay that on this tote, put my gloves on, put a shovel full of dirt on top, and rub it back and forth. And I get this really nice, loamy, good soil. That's really nice, good potting soil. And when I dig the hole and put my, I haven't finished letting that corn, but the corn down there I got out, and I dug a little hole, I put the corn in it, and then I put some of this really nice, loose dirt around and planted in that, and then the roots will get established good, and then I watered it, of course. And as they grow through the loamy, nice stuff, the really loose, nice stuff without a bunch of rocks and weeds and all that, they get established, and then they can get down into the heavier dirt and grow around the rocks that are in there and that stuff. But you really want that nice, loose dirt like that in there. So that's something that you can do. Build yourself a screen and screen some dirt if you can't always afford to go out and buy a bag of dirt. I can't all the time. So it's pretty warm right now. My squash plant looks a little droopy. It's just because of the sun is really hot. We're supposed to be getting up into the 90s. I don't know what it got to today. But yeah, I wanted to show you that. Okay, and next I want to show you also with some of this dirt. First I've got some new pots that I'm trying to prepare. So keep in mind how I made this dirt, because you're going to see something I'm going to do with it in the preparing of the pots. Welcome to Gail's Garden Herbs and More. Now, I pretty much have my raised beds full. I've got one side over here. I'm going to put a few peppers on the end. I've got little tomatoes on the other side with that little trellis thing that I put together. But where am I going to plant the rest of my plants? Well, I got a couple more pots. These are actually pretty good sized pots. That thing in front is that little work pot that I have. And I put a bunch of wood chips in it. And I want to show you how to prepare your pots. Now, you don't have to fill them all up with dirt. I used to kind of sometimes put a few rocks at the bottom, but this way I can put quite a bit. It's going to break down over time and actually be nutritious for the plants. It'll take a while with the wood chips, though. The leaves that are in it will break down before the actual wood chips will. I'm going to put that in the bottom, and then I'll fill the rest of it with dirt, and it'll break down. Next year I'll just add more dirt. I'll loosen it up and add more nutritious organic dirt. Now what I'm using is some dirt and horse or cow manure that's been mixed, and I'm going to put on top. But I'm going to start with my wood chips. Now, if you don't have wood chips, you can probably use some like straw or leaves that you've collected in the fall that you've raked up in a pile somewhere, or maybe just whatever you can put in the bottom. So you don't have to fill it all with dirt. If you don't have anything, you can fill it all with dirt. It's just, dirt is a precious commodity, a good dirt that's going to be nutritious for your plants so they'll grow. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in the bottom of the pots. Okay, now you can see that I've put the wood chips in there. And this one you're going to water from the bottom. So when I first put I'm going to put a tomato in this because tomatoes don't like to be watered from the top once they get up bigger. So this will be great for my tomatoes. Now this one doesn't have it, so I'll just have to be careful and try not to get it on a lot of the foliage as my tomato gets bigger. I could plant a pepper in this, but I think I'm going to do a tomato. And then over there I have another one that I haven't started on, that little orange one. I'll plant a pepper in that. But yeah, this is about where I'm at with the wood chips. This one I didn't put quite as much, but it's a smaller pot too. So now what I'm going to do is go get some good nutritious dirt, fill up this and bring it over here and fill my pots up. Wanted to show you, this is where I got my wood chips. I had a truck come in that were trimming the trees and stuff around here, and it's wood chips and leaves mixed, and it's pretty well, I've used it all throughout the garden, but it's been here since last fall, so it has kind of mulched down and broken down, and I can dig down still a little ways and get quite a bit, but yeah, let's go look at the dirt now. Okay, and this pile is there's mostly manure down on this end and probably a little more dirt on this end. It's supposed to kind of all be mixed, but we had more manure than dirt. And there's a lot of rocks in that too I've got to get out. But yeah, I'm going to fill up my little pot here with this and try to take a couple shovelfuls of the manure and then back over here with the dirt. It is mixed some down towards the bottom, but you can kind of I like to kind of mix them both. I don't want it just straight manure. So that's what I'm going to do right now. Okay, I'm back over at the pots. There's my dirt. I'm going to have to get several of them, probably a couple pots. Thinking, let me do this one, and then I want to show you what I do at the top. What I've got here is, I don't want to move my hose. This hose, it's not a normal hose. It's a very expensive hose. It's a food grade hose. I use it for my garden because I eat the vegetables in my garden. I don't have a real good setup on the watering. I need to get another one for here in the back and one in the front. But I got this hooked up in the back right now, and I don't want to move it over to get it. I'm kind of in the middle where those pots are, but I can't reach it from here, so I'm going to fill up my water bucket. But I just wanted to kind of let you know what I'm doing on that. Okay, now, I am not going to plant right now, and I'm not done yet, but I do want to water that dirt good. And even though I'm not ready to plant yet, I want my transplants to get a little bit bigger, before I plant them. So, when I'm watering, though, I'm going to go ahead and water this dirt. Your dirt has to be moist, kept moist, so it will come alive. You want what's called live dirt. Your plants will thrive much better. You have to take care of your dirt as well as your plants. So I'm going to go ahead and water this one down a little. Then I'm going to show you something else I'm going to do, and then I'll water it a little more. Sorry, I don't have a shed to put all my stuff in, so I kind of put it in piles in certain places. But I'm going to take this little bucket, and these little things just didn't grow. I planted these last fall, and I've given away these little plants to people, and I wished I knew someone else to give them to, but I hate wasting them. But they're not growing. If you separate them and plant the lettuce, it might grow somewhere else. It's getting so hot, you're going to be in the 90s. They'd only bolt here. So what I'm going to do, this is more refined dirt than what I have in that pot. I'll take this little bucket down here. It's a little work bucket I have. I'm going to fill it up with this refined dirt, and I'm going to put it on the top, because when I plant my young tomato plant, I want that fine dirt for it to kind of get established in, and the roots will start going down through it pretty easy, and it'll get down to the heavier, clumpier type of stuff. But that's just what I do. It's just easier on my transplants with this finer dirt at the top. So I'm going to get some of that and lay that on the top. Okay, I've got that poured from the little bucket, the fine dirt on the top, and I'm going to water it as well. So I'm going to get that all nice and dampened up, and I will keep that damp until I'm ready to plant. That is one way to prepare your pots for planting. And I just wanted to share that with you so that you would know, especially for beginning gardeners, there's a lot of you out there that are just starting to get into this. And for those of us that have gardened for a while, we all have different ways of doing things. And you'll find ways that you like the best too. But this is what I do to prepare my pots, and it does seem to help and give healthier plants. Remember, when you're gardening in pots, they dry out quicker, so you have to make sure they keep water. Just stick your finger about an inch down, an inch and a half down. If it's dry, then you need to water it. That's how I tell. So you got to keep them, depending, some plants like more water than others, but you don't want it to totally dry out. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you learned something, and give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this, and we will catch you all later. Bye-bye now.